Greetings to everyone, regardless of what time zone or country you are calling from. Realize, as we all know, only this present moment is what's real. Time is only a concept held together by agreement. Our governments determine what time it is. We abide in this pure awareness, ever present as now. So abiding in this now presence, let's intentionally withdraw our attention into the pure awareness, the pure being I am. Realizing I am is not a thought. It is the infinite and eternal awareness itself, the basis of every one, everywhere, every time, every when. See this and know this for yourself. This pure awareness is not individual. In truth, there is not now, never has been, nor will there ever be a separate individual being. There is only this one infinite and eternal intelligence, out of which the individual sense of I takes rise as I am the body or I am the mind, with our personal histories. But see for yourself that there is only this pure awareness, like one infinite ocean of consciousness, where we as seeming individual rise up as waves in this one ocean. For the next few minutes, intentionally withdraw your attention into this pure being of I am, abiding in it as it, in stillness and in peace. Now as we continue in the stillness and silence of pure being, let's give consideration to these conscious words spoken by the sage Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi, as are contained in the booklet Guru Ramana Vachanamala by his direct disciple, who did the translation of the pure recording of Sri Bhagavan's works by his disciple Muruganar. Beginning with last Sunday's message, verse 240 from the booklet, Sri Bhagavan says, "The state of being the real self by Nana, pure knowledge, is the real becoming of God, the eternal peace, the state beyond the three states of waking, dream, and sleep, which is the treasure of freedom or independence." Monday's message is verse 241. This verse has an extensive footnote that took, I think, 3 days of messages as we break them into parts to share the entire footnote. So I will read it and share it with you as just one reading, even though it comprises 3 different dates of messages. The verse is, "When, by the grace of God, which is easily won by devotion to Him, the mind becomes calm in the heart, then is experienced that one reality, which is both the light and the sky," meaning space, "by which and in which the mind and all else seem to exist, but in fact are not actually real." Now the footnote 9. "The one reality, which is pure consciousness, is the sole remainder in the egoless state. It has been explained that the mind begins to function only on the arising of the ego sense. Since this has the form, I am this body, or I am a separate individual entity or being, the awareness of a body is simultaneous with the birth of the ego. Thus," this is continuing on Tuesday, "thus the mind and the world of which the body is a part necessarily rise together. They are inseparable to the extent of suggesting that the two are one, and that the world is only a subjective experience and not actually an objective reality. So long as the ego survives and the world is being seen, the real self is practically non-perceptive or existent. On the ego being extinguished, only then the self is made manifest. Now the question is, does the world continue to appear after the real self is realized? The answer is that the world goes the way of the mind, which shares the fate of the ego. This is being expounded in this present verse 241. The footnote continues on Wednesday. This verse 241 states the metaphysical truth that the mind, as well as the world, which appears in it subjectively, has no independent existence, but is only an appearance in the real self. When there is the ego sense, the real self is itself seen as all of this. When the ego sense ceases, finally, instead of being temporarily latent in sleep, the real self, being manifest as it really is, can no more appear as the world, which it never was. The footnote continues on Thursday. Therefore it is here described as the space of the sky in which the mind and its contents appear, and is the light by which they appear. It has been explained by the sage that the mind is almost infinite, apparently containing in itself the outer sky and all the worlds. However, the mind, in its turn, is actually contained in the real self. And so, to make this intelligible, the real self is described as being the sky of consciousness, as distinguished from the outer sky of ether. Being pure consciousness, it is not only the substance of the false appearance of the world, but also the light that makes it possible for the false appearance to be seen and mistaken as real. The end of the daily messages. Now, as we continue in this stillness and silence, to the best of your ability, remain in the faultless awareness. Draw attention inward to attention itself and observe. To what extent are thoughts rising? Even though thoughts may still continue to rise, remain in the awareness observing the thoughts. See through the thoughts. Rather than completing the thoughts or avoiding the thoughts, Accept the thoughts and just see through them. This is a powerful practice that will free you from identification with thoughts. See it for yourself. I am is before the thought of I am can even rise. Said another way, the pure self is that out of which the sense of I rises as the ego or body mind. See this for yourself and abide in this pure being of I am prior to the thought I am, even free of all thoughts. For thought cannot exist apart from the I thought. See this for yourself. This is the one way to be free of all thoughts. In seeing this, notice for yourself. Suffering is impossible without the thought of suffering. When you wish to be free of suffering, simply withdraw the thought of suffering, and you're already free of suffering. Remaining in this awareness, as this awareness, what may have been occurring since the last time we were together, of any kind of upsetting nature, see for yourself. As you abide in this awareness in conscious company, there is no upset when you're back prior to thought itself, which awareness is. Rest in this awareness, this prior awareness, the pure I am. Free yourself from the situation in which you were engaged that was upsetting, by giving no thought to it. It only exists in the mind anyway. And when you're in the thoughtless awareness, the mind is quiet and still, and therefore, without the thought of the situation is not present. You're present as awareness. Remain present as you are in pure awareness and be at peace. Remain here forever and be happy. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.
Now, if anyone has anything that is happening with you that you would like to share that has been significant for you, when we're all together as we are in conscious company, what is significant to one is usually significant to all. If not in this moment, it might have been at some other moment, or it could very well be in some future moment. So please share your insights your deeper understandings or your questions, whatever question you might have pertaining to your spiritual process, your practice. For that too is beneficial to all. The answer to one question or the question of one person is usually always beneficial to the rest of us. The only answer will come out of the consciousness of the one who asked the question. I'm only a reflecting mirror for that to occur with you. I have no answers. The pure awareness of being has the answers. So give rise to your questions or share your insights as we're all together here in fellowship and relationship with one another. And if anyone in the room has any question or anything you would care to share, we just ask that you come to the chair and do your sharing so that everyone on the call will be able to hear and participate as well. All right, anyone have anything you would like to share? Or any question? Anything going on with you?
Ramana?
All right.
Carol?
Who? Who is it?
Who is it again?
Carol.
Carol.
Hello, Carol.
Carol.
Cheryl.
Oh, Cheryl.
Cheryl, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Ramana, I just wanted to share something that's going on for me right now.
Something is going on for her right now.
All right.
I'm going through a significant change in that the job that I've had for the last 13 years is coming to an end.
Okay.
One of the things that I'm seeing with that is, and it actually isn't really a surprise, but it's really very strong, is that how, even after many peace and really coming from awareness, how the body-mind will rise up and, in these kinds of situations, the emotion and the process and all the things that you go through is still there. For me, it is, I had this was just the work that I do. It's not who I am. And yet, I'm really seeing how much still, after all this time, the body-mind still identifies with that work, right? In a way, this is an opportunity to continue to let go of that and to continue to see that. And I guess the answer to me has been how the body-mind is always there. It's always there. It's really about how you see it and seeing it from awareness and how that can just make the whole process so much easier.
Yes, it can be there, and it can be apparently the course of the source of your problem. But as you're seeing and as you're saying, when you withdraw your attention or your identification from the body mind, from the ego mind, and just rest or continue to attend to the pure awareness. Attend to it until you're able to abide in it as it. As you remain in the awareness and see your body and your mind with its thoughts from the awareness, you're able to look through the thoughts See them rising. See the old habits of identification with the work that you were doing and to what extent you might have tended to identify with your work and calling your work me. You see what I'm saying, how that can happen often, that we identify with our work and consider our work to be who we are. But our work is not who we are, no more than our body and our mind is who we are. What we do is not who we are. Who we are is pure awareness, pure being. And this pure awareness, this pure being has no beginning. It just is. It is as it is. Whereas our work began when we started our job for the first time, or when we identified with our profession or our particular vocation. But again, that's not who we are. That's just a pattern of thought, a pattern of specialized thought that we have come to identify with and take to be me, which is the objective form of I, the subjective ego awareness. See this, that's all. And as you're doing, Cheryl, if you stay back in the awareness, practice the inquiry, don't identify with the thoughts, but simply see through the thoughts, you can remain ever free of the thoughts and the patterns and the habits of thought, and remain and be free. Are you getting it, love?
Yes, Brahmana, thank you.
Thank you for your sharing. All right, anyone else?
Brahmana?
All right.
Hi, this is Angie. I just wanted to let you know that my dad said hello to you earlier, but it was really low because he's so tired today.
All right, I can hear you, Angie.
Hold on.
You let Willie share.
I just wanted to... Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay,
Are you with your dad?
Yes, he said hello to you earlier, but it was really, really low because he was fighting a fever today, so he's very tired.
He
But
said
hello to you earlier.
He said hello earlier, but it was very low because he's got a fever today. And he's,
Okay, well, you tell him, if you can hear me, Willie, I'm happy that you called in. Okay, Angie, what do you have to say?
I just want to thank everyone for holding him in the heart in this situation.
Yes.
I'm just very appreciative of everyone's support.
Yes, Willie is a member of our family for many years now. What, 20? How many, Willie? 20 or 25? Or something like that, huh? Yes.
22.
22 years, Willie. How about that, pal? Seems like only yesterday. Doesn't it, Jimmy? Huh? Seems like only yesterday. Willie Jr., you were just a kid. Yes. Okay, Angie, anything else?
No, that's all.
All right, thank you for your sharing, love. And we're with you, Willie, and we're holding you in the heart, and we're seeing this situation completing to your highest good. All right, anyone else?
Ramana, George in Tequesta.
George Scott in Tequesta.
Okay, George.
Yeah, when we started off this morning, as often you mentioned that we can all experience some awareness. And I think you said that awareness is not a function of the mind. And I'm wondering if this awareness that we're all feeling now is the same as a pure awareness, but without the imposition of the body, mind, and ego on it.
Well, look and see, George. What is your direct insight with regard to it? That's what counts. Look and see. Awareness must be before anything else can be, even before thought can be. So this awareness that we all are sharing together in this conscious company is, if you can really make the distinction and see the difference, it's prior to thought. Therefore, it's prior to the mind. The mind comes out of this awareness. There is a definite distinctive difference between the awareness that we actually are and the thought that we actually do, in a manner of speaking. We are more or less doing thought, meaning we have given rise to the mind, and the mind does the thinking. Yes, it rises spontaneously, as though without effort, and yet there was already a nudge when we began the process of thinking itself. And that nudge is still going on, so to speak. But we're there prior to the nudge, seeing the mind. Right now, can you not see your own sense of I?
Yes.
Now, in this seeing of your own sense of I, the sense of I is the ego, is the mind. But you're the one that can see it. It's so subtle, and yet it is so direct when we give attention to it. We ordinarily don't give attention to it. We don't ordinarily make the distinction between thinking and awareness, between the mind and awareness. It takes meditation. It takes the willingness to withdraw attention into the pure awareness and resting quietly in the stillness and silence, which is the nature of the I Am, the pure being, which is not this or that. The mind is the consciousness of this or that. But the being that we are is primordial. It's original. It has no beginning, no ending. It is without cause, without support, unchanging. The mind, on the other hand, is in flux, constantly changing, thinking this and that, right and wrong, up and down, good and bad, inside and outside. But the awareness that we are is that in which all of these dual aspects of thinking, or the multiplicity of thoughts, is occurring. The pure awareness. This is the very self, the true being that we are. Can you see it, George? Can you recognize it?
Yes, I think I get what you're saying. Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you for your question, George. All right, anyone else?
Hello, this is Pam in Ashboro.
Hello, Pam.
Ramana, I think of the mind, when you speak of it, as the stuff that goes on kind of behind my eyes or between my ears. Is that with the words, the streaming words? Is that what
Goes
you're-
on, I'm sorry, do it again, but goes in where?
Think
What?
of it as behind my, in the brain, behind
Okay,
my eyes. And
the
between
gray
my
matter,
ears.
huh?
Yeah, sort of the words, the streaming stories that then I think that are what I am. In meditation lately, I have had some very physical things come up in my body that bring with them feelings of things like fear and anxiety that don't have an activity involved with words until after they happen, and then there are lots of commentary about it, those sorts of things. I wonder if you have a teaching about that.
Okay. Yes, when you begin the inquiry process, or one who's just beginning meditation, in a dualistic sense, what is there that is conditioned in your mind? Now, making the distinction between the mind and the gray matter of the brain. The gray matter of the brain is the record of experiences in the body that is recorded there since we were children. From our thoughts, emotions, actions, deeds, you see, all of that since we were children. What we have learned, okay. And yet, in consciousness, you call it the cells of thought. There's the cells of the brain, which is the body, and then there are the cells of thought in consciousness. And they correspond with one another in a manner of speaking, okay? But all of this conditioned patterns that may have now been forgotten, that are actually memories in the mind that are there to be triggered off by events and experiences as they occur around you or outside of you. You see, these conditioned patterns that get triggered off by meditation. And just the meditation itself begins to bring energy, movement into those areas, you see, triggering off these areas. And it's meant to be. That's a natural process. It's very normal. So don't be concerned about it at all. Just recognize that when it's happening, it's a very normal situation. And just continue with your inquiry, and to the best of your ability, keep your attention in the awareness itself. And as you're abiding in the awareness, just watch what comes up as it comes up. Whether it's an emotion or a thought or a tendency to act in some way, but attempt to stay present, in the present, and inactive, and just watching and observing the mind, you see, and the patterns as they rise. And as you watch them and bring that pattern with your attention back along with the I that has the pattern, the thought, the feeling, you with me? Mm-hmm. Bring that thought, that emotion, and the I that has it back into the pure awareness of being, the I am. And that's the real meaning of baptism. Are you getting it?
Whoa, yes.
Okay.
Wow, thank you.
Jesus said, or John says, I baptize you with water, but the one who comes after me will baptize you with Spirit and the Holy Ghost. The whole consciousness of your being withdrawn into the pure awareness of being, thought by thought or moment by moment as it occurs, will neutralize all of that conditioning that rises up now as fear. And that will be the end of fear, the freedom from fear, and the peace that Jesus says that passeth all understanding, meaning all intellectual knowing. It's not the cause of something, but is your very nature. All right? Are you getting it?
I think so.
Can you feel
yes.
it?
I can feel it.
No, don't think it, get it.
I might have to grapple with it a little bit more, but
All
but I
right, just
understand what you're saying.
relax into it. Just let go into it and let it reveal itself to you. Silently, see. All right? Okay, thank you for your question. Are we all here?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, anyone else? In this last situation with Pam sharing, know when you draw your attention back with the thoughts of upset, fear, worry, concern, difficulties, trials, and tribulations, when you withdraw the sense of I containing those thoughts and emotions and fears into the pure awareness, this pure awareness is the I am. It is true Christ consciousness. So that's the baptism of and cleansing and transformation of these patterns that have been conditioned in the body mind since birth. Going all the way back, all of our worries, all of our upsets, all of our concerns, all of the patterns that have been conditioned during our formative years, all of the abuse that we have had to undergo, whatever form it might have been in, we can ourselves end it, or the effect of it. Now, of course, we cannot end it, but we can neutralize or end the effect that it has upon us, some of which we don't even remember now that we had, but it's there. It's in the subconscious layers of the mind. And so when we withdraw the full mind, the total mind, back into the awareness, the moment that a situation rises, inquire, who's having this thought, this experience, this situation? In this moment, who's having it? The only answer is me. I'm having it. Now, that's the objective form of the subjective I. Now draw the objective and subjective form together as thought back into the pure awareness and remain in this pure awareness as this pure awareness. See for yourself. Don't believe me. Please do not believe me, but Put it to the test. See for yourself how the conditioned patterns themselves will neutralize or be neutralized as you just simply remain and abide in the pure I am, the very self, which in truth we all are. We're all this one ocean of consciousness. So just like a river merging with the ocean, merge your river of thought back into the ocean of pure being and be free. All right, anyone? Did someone say something?
Ramana,
All right.
that explanation or sharing that you just shared with Pam about baptism was just, I don't know. I've heard you talk about it
Beverly.
many times, but that, when you just shared that, it was just, I don't know, perfect for this one. So thank you, Pam, for asking that question. And what I wanted to share was that I've just returned from a really wonderful vacation and conference that I had in Southern California, where I was with a group of women who were sort of made a commitment to a healing path for people, for women particularly, in domestic violence. And it was a wonderful conference. I had such a great time and met so many wonderful people. And what I've been noticing is that this one is now able to inquire into the positive events of life, where it hasn't been that easy for me to do that in the past. It's sort of the mind has sort of gotten caught there and wasn't as easy to inquire into wonderful events as it was negative events, if you will. And I've noticed a real shift in that for me, where the natural inquiry is just present, and so an experience, these wonderful opportunities and events can be experienced and not lose sight of awareness and inquiry, and that is a real blessing. And I know it comes from my ability and commitment to have practiced for almost 25 years, and to have the great fortune of being in your presence and having you as my teacher for all these years. So I just wanted to share that, and thank you so much for hanging in there for me all those years till I have gotten to a place where I can inquire into wonderful things.
Yes, Lo, thank you for your sharing. And that's very significant that you're now seeing how important it is to inquire into the positive events. Who's having these positive events? These beneficial events as well as the negative events, because it's all mind. And what is important is to withdraw the mind with all of its positive thoughts as well back into the pure awareness and neutralize the mind itself. Baptize the very mind, and it becomes transformed into pure being, pure consciousness. Okay? Thank you for your sharing, love.
This is Vivian. In response to what Pam had said about being in the fire, having the grace of being in the fire as much as I am, It gets easier. It really does. And there's just gratitude for being able to be in the fire, and thank you for keeping me in the fire.
Well, you keep yourself in the fire just by serving. How can I keep you in the fire?
You can't.
You're the one that keeps yourself in the fire.
Yeah, that's true.
And you do, but I'll tell you, you keep me in the fire pretty good yourself.
I guess that's what makes it work. So just stay with it, Pam.
Okay, thank you, love. All right, anyone else? We have 5 minutes.
Ramana,
All right,
this is Saroja. I have a quick question.
all right.
In meditation, what I'm experiencing a lot is I lose complete body awareness. And
You don't, what with body?
She loses complete body awareness. She loses complete body awareness.
Okay, go ahead, that's good.
Awareness,
All right.
and then it seems like the awareness almost has a density to it. It's so dense. I mean, I'm just putting words on it, but that's...
Yeah, fullness, a fullness, huh?
Yeah, it's full.
Yes.
And then in activity, when, I need to go on doing my daily activities, then the awareness seems much lighter. It's very subtle. It seems much more subtle. So the question I have is, as practice deepens, is even during activity, awareness will, just be full, so to speak?
I didn't
Could you
get
say that again, Saroja?
I said, if during activities, as practice deepens, or, is
Consciousness different during
As,
activity?
doing activities as her practice deepens.
Your practice deepens during activities?
yes,
Are you meaning that you're able to stay prior to your activities and see your activities as they're occurring?
yes,
Well, that's the way. That's what you wish. That's what you want. To stay in the awareness, and while the activities are occurring, be able to see the activities from the awareness and observe the activities without identifying with the activities as being the doer of the activities, but rather actions are happening. Doing is happening without there being an I that is doing it. As Buddha says, the deed there is, but no doer thereof. Do you get it?
yes. My question was, Ramana, when I'm doing activities and being in prior awareness, I don't feel the same density or the same fullness of prior awareness. When the body is in movement or the mind has to be somehow involved into thinking for work or for whatever, and it's more subtle. The attention, the awareness seems to be more subtle. And my question was like, is this becoming fuller and fuller and fuller as one, deepen the meditation?
Yes, it will become fuller and more present. The acknowledgement and perception, if you will, that's not maybe the right word, but the ability to, in the beingness of awareness, as you continue to practice and moving deeper and deeper as the awareness, functioning more from the awareness, will become fuller. And these are just words now that are pointing to the process itself. Don't take the words literally, but let the words point you into the experience for yourself, to see for yourself, to know directly for yourself what is actually occurring as it's occurring. But stay with the process, that's all. Just stay with the inquiry. Very simply, anyone and everyone, as most of you know, the answer is the same with every question. To whom is it happening? To me. To who am I? Follow the I back. Stay with the process. Good thoughts or bad thoughts. Stay with the process. Remain in it forever. And be happy. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.